It's our opinion. So, guys, welcome back to the channel.
And if you're new here, welcome to the channel.
This past weekend, we had the privilege of checking out another local con. It was called PeoriaCon. It was held in what seemed to be fairgrounds.
Yeah, it said it was the home of the Heart of Illinois Fair or something like that. So it was in central Illinois. I don't know what the Heart of Illinois is. I'm assuming it's a summertime fair. I'm sure we'll find out eventually. But
yeah, this place was located in the backwoods, down a long gravel, dirt, muddy road, which happened to have an auction, vehicle auction going on at the same time,
like next to it.
And then there was like a cow farm on the other side. It was a thing.
Yeah, there was a bunch of people coming with cattle. So we don't know if they were auctioning off the trucks or if they were auctioning off cattle, because there was a bunch of cows and people coming in with trailers and stuff like that. So that's the kind of place we were at. So that was a cattle auction place.
Absolutely no parking.
Parking was junk.
Yeah. According to the Facebook page, there was 2,000 people that were interested in this event, but maybe 100 parking spots.
Maybe. So we made our own parking.
We created our own spot.
The other people were parked there. So after going inside, we determined as long as we weren't blocking in someone else's car, didn't matter where we parked.
Didn't matter. And we knew we weren't going to be there that long to where if it got to the point where our car was going to be towed.
There were no tow signs anyway, so they couldn't have towed ours.
They wouldn't have done anything. So getting there, finding the place, the parking, we were a little skeptical.
Well, we'd never been, so...
Never been. Second local con, to be fair.
This one was $10 to get in. You couldn't pre-buy your tickets. You had to buy them at the door. Yeah. And if you didn't pay cash, you had to pay tax.
Yeah. Weird.
It's very weird.
Weird how they do it out here.
So.
It was overall a cool experience. It was bigger than the mall one, but smaller.
The facility was smaller than the mall, obviously.
It was laid out a little bit better, too.
Kind of, but...
There were aisles we could walk.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could walk up and down, but the mall, you were just walking around the level, and they were just
out there. Scattered about.
Which was kind of cool, because then you could go into a store, too, which we did.
Yeah.
But
so, quite a few people.
Oh, and they were selling swords.
Yeah, they were.
As we were going in, a guy was coming out with a sword that was so big he had to, like, duck under the door frame.
And he literally said, I can't believe I just bought the biggest sword they had.
And we got there an hour.
It was around 11-ish.
After it opened. It opened at 10. So people were already leaving when we were getting there. So that wasn't a good sign. No. But again, we weren't sure what to expect. But we didn't have our hopes up high either. So. But we did get in there. There was a ton of cool stuff. A lot of vendors there. Kind of did our lap through. Started recording. Usually we like to go through, record everything, and then kind of go back around and be people. We just like to look at everything, and then we make mental notes of the ones we want to go back to talk to. Sometimes there's a group of people already there, and I don't really like to talk in front of a bunch of people. So that's normally what we do. We take a lap, and then we go back. But the cons we are familiar with are much bigger than this. So you have a lot more artists and comic books and toys and collector's items and all that stuff. So it's smarter to kind of look and see if you see something, then you go see if it's less expensive somewhere else. Yeah. Because we collect the Funko Pops, and sometimes people overprice those. So it's good to kind of see where you're at, especially if you know the prices and you know what you want to spend. So that's normally what we do. Yeah. We say that, but you don't want to end up carrying 500 things through the con when you have a bunch of other things to look at. Right. So, plus we forgot our bag in the car, and I don't think there was re-entry, and it just was.
It was a whole thing. It was a whole thing. So that was our plan going in, and we did start recording. But we met a person, an individual, who probably had the greatest marketing technique, if you will.
Gimmick. It's not gimmick, like gimmick in a bad way. It was gimmick in a very good way.
So first off, it was the imagery of the books is what made us stop. Yep. Right. Did you want to show some of it? And then
So he had them on display. So he had 5 books, but he had 4 that were like up in the air, like on little stands. He had the zombie turkeys, the zombie detective, My Undead Mother-in-Law, and then this Paranormal Privateers were all up on stands. And Chuck likes zombies. I like zombies too. And as soon as we like slowed down to browse, he was like, "Come on over." So we went over. He was a very nice man. His name is Andy Zach.
Yep.
This is the last book that he has. It's called Oops, Tales of the Zombie Turkey Apocalypse Life After Life Chronicles. So this is the book that got us to stop. I saw zombie turkeys and I thought, well, that's not going to be your typical zombie thing. This has to be some kind of dark humor, funny thing, right? So
it caught our attention.
This is what caught our eye. We also have a thing hanging up in the basement here that's similar to this. This made me think of that.
Yeah.
So this is why we stopped, but we're going to let Andy show you why we bought these.
I read the first page of the book and give you turkey puppet actions.
You want to see it? I would like to see it.
Oh, absolutely.
You mind if I record this?
No, not at all.
Going on our YouTube channel. All right.
It's all free advertising is the way I look at it.
Got it.
So, Chapter 1, Bartonville.
Oh, okay.
He felt different, more energetic, more alive. He bred with female after female in his flocks without tiring. He stayed awake through the night. He feared no predator. Then the turkey hunter shot him. The setting sun overlooked a crisp, clear evening in early November. South of Bartonville, Illinois, a farmer had leased his woodlot to 2 turkey hunters. Big and burly in their bulky camouflage outfits, they just bagged one. Good shot, Pete. He's a big one. Pete and Bob walked up to the tom turkey, bleeding on the cold ground. He had exceptionally good plumage and weighed perhaps 20 pounds. Pete reached down and picked him up by the neck. He weighs at least 25 pounds. Then the turkey's eyes opened and gleamed red. He kicked with his spurs and pecked savagely at Pete's arms and eyes. Dozens of his hens attacked the men from behind. Gobble, gobble! He felt different, more energetic, more alive. He had no memory of being shot, but a certain turkey satisfaction at killing his killers. He also enjoyed pecking at their dead meat. He'd always liked frogs, but this meat tasted better. He led his flock down the road in search of more predators to eat. So that's page 1. That's page 1. Thank you so much.
I love it.
I want it.
You want all 4 or
Yeah, I got 3 prices for you. They're $12 each.
Okay.
3 for 30, or all 5 for 40. So
let's do all 5. We'll do all 5.
So you can't say that wasn't a good sales pitch. And because of that, I was like, you sold me. You sold me on this book. So he said, I have 1 for 12, 3 for 30, or 5 for 40.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, you know what? He's a local. He's local. So he was a mile away from the event center. And so we were like, let's just buy them all. Chuck and I are always looking for something new to read. And his little puppet show was one of the greatest things I think I've ever seen at a con. And it was just so silly. So he signed all of the books for us. Yep. He personalized all of them. And in each one, he wrote something different. Yep. So in the zombie turkeys, he said, get your flamethrower. So I'm wondering if that's, alluding to something that happens in the book. And then like in the zombie detective one, he wrote solve the mysteries. So there's something different in each one, which was very kind of him to do. And he was just very nice. And I can't wait to start reading these. My plan is tomorrow. We're going to have some work done around the house. So my plan is to read this. Even though I said in the other con video I was going to read that other book that I haven't read yet, this is the first one on my list.
Yeah, and like again, he was super cool. I'll have all of his info linked down in the description. You can buy his books online. He has audio books. Same books, but audio. And
he had another set of books about superheroes, but these were the ones that we stopped for. Yeah, so
that's our.
If we like these, then we can always order the other ones from him. Or if there's another con in July, the biggest one here.
This one's at the convention center.
It's at the Civic Center, so we'll see.
Much bigger and
supposedly it's a combination of the last two that we went to, the quad.
So we're gradually getting better and better, right? We'll see. So hopefully, there's C2E2 is here next month. End of this month?
April 1st, but
we won't be going to that one this year. We're planning for next year. We're going for the big boy.
The big one. So
yeah.
C2E2 didn't really have a lot of big names.
They seemed a little lackluster this year, but it is what it is. So of course, we met Andy and he sold us and we got his books and stuff. Then we continued on recording, which you'll see all in the videos.
Yeah, because we foolishly bought all 5 books, forgot our bag, and we had just started walking around the con.
Literally, he was like the 3rd table we stopped at.
But the guy next to him gave us a bag, but it got really heavy after a while because it's 5 big books, right?
Yes, yes.
But yeah, that's normally why we don't buy stuff at the beginning, but he sucked us in.
He got us. Yeah. So again, with the layout of this place, it was laid out decent. You could kind of maneuver through. There were a lot of people, so there were some traffic jams here and there. But it was basically just like a big 14,000 square foot room. Everything was in there. They did have initially 4 guests that were supposed to be there. The Red Power Ranger from Turbo, I believe it was. And then Walter something. He was the original Black Power Ranger from the original Power Rangers.
They canceled.
No, he didn't cancel. The red one did.
But there was 2 cancellations.
There was a comic book creator.
Yes.
Did G.I. Joe stuff.
So originally there was maybe 5 guests and 2 canceled.
2 canceled. But we were walking through and I made the comment, like, where are these meet and greets? Where are these photo ops happening? And we kind of went down this one aisle and I'm like, oh, there it is.
They were just kind of in the back.
Tucked them back in the corner. There were lines and lines of people that were blocking other vendor tables. It was a little chaotic. Fortunately, we didn't see the Black Ranger. He wasn't out there yet.
No, and there was one poor guy that was like, "You can get my autograph for $5."
Yeah,
and
it was
nobody.
Bad.
I don't know who he was. No one was at his table. So.
But there was some cool stuff there. I did purchase myself a brand new. I'm calling it my streaming cup because this is what I will be drinking out of while streaming on Twitch, which you can find me at twitch.com. Nope, twitch.tv/Charles13 CHAALZ13. Find me there.
Link in the description.
Link will be down below.
If you like watching people play video games, scary ones, scaring the shit out of themselves, that's the channel to go to.
Yeah, come by and jump scare me.
Or Fortnite and then watch them get pissed off for no reason.
It's fun times. Great times. So overall, it was a good con. There was a gentleman there that we had saw at the last con we went to at the mall. Mm-hmm. Did not have time to stop and check him out. But
I don't even think he was at the table after meeting him. When we walked past the table, I think
there was a time he wasn't there.
He wasn't there.
But I remember when we first did our walkthrough, I saw this cover and the title alone, I was like, that sounds pretty badass. And I'm a visual guy, so I like the stuff that looks cool. And then if you got an awesome story behind it, then I'm in. So this time we decided, and he kind of had a big table. Yeah. He had a lot of stuff.
He had a lot of posters behind him. Yeah. He had multiple, I don't know, sets, but that's not the right word. Different series of comic books that he had.
And we walked up and he's just sitting there just doodling this badass looking Batman, which you'll see. I'll put the picture in because I took a picture of it while he was doing it. But this is the artist's name is Cameron Johnson. Also another local guy, and his series is Bone Check.
One of his series.
And just like Andy, I'm going to let Cameron Johnson explain to you what's going on with these books.
All right. Hey guys, I'm Cameron Johnson. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Bone Check. So this is volume 1. It has issues 1 through 3, and it's recently been published by a new publisher and redistributed now. So I'm in Lunar, same distributors like DC Comics and stuff like that. So I'm nationwide now. But Bone Check is about a bounty hunter who owes an ancestral bar tab to a saloon that's owned and operated by a family of fallen angels. And these angels are trying to earn their way back into heaven. So how they've been doing that is by using this one bloodline, keeping this single family trapped in this drunken stupor. And every new generation that comes back into this bar, they send on the same mission to go and eradicate evil and come back and try and earn money to pay off their debts, but they never do. They trick them every time into spending everything they earn right back at the bar, and more booze and guns and drugs and buffs and power-ups, and the cycle just continues. So a lot of fun though. I'd say very early adult swim. You know, that's kind of my big inspiration growing up. You know, Super Jail, Rick and Morty. I mean, just anything but funny and violent I was all about, and couldn't help but to let it bleed out into the Bone Check a little bit. So this is kind of your Midwestern horror, where there's a demonic cult living in those creepy, dilapidated barns and cornfields between Chicago and St. Louis. And this is the it's a little bit in the Upper Peninsula in the Ute, and this tells the story of a carnival, a traveling circus that pops up once every few hundred years, and the bounty hunter's tasked to go and shut it down. But on his way into the festival, he ends up falling into a bad patch of mushrooms and has a bad trip at the carnival, you could say. So zombie, clown, werewolf, giant, robot, circus, freak, roller coaster rides, and demonic cults in cornfields.
There you have it. That is why I bought volume 1 and volume 2. And the coolest thing about it too is he's like, you bought both my books. I'm gonna draw something for you. Check that out. You put read me. So I'm going to be reading it.
I'm pretty excited about reading those myself. His stories seem pretty unique.
And it's awesome, like the way it's laid out, you know, it's kind of like a comic book, but it's, you know, the bigger panels, more illustrations, you know. Very cool. I can't wait to actually get started on those myself.
Yeah, they seem very interesting. Like I said, the stories being so unique and something who would have thought of.
Yeah. And again, all of his info will be down in the description below, so you can check him out. All the stuff is online as well. He does have some big releases he said he's got coming up in C2E2, so he will be there at the end of this month. So if you're in the Chicago area and you're there, let him know that we said, hey.
Definitely go check him out.
We sent you. So overall, not a bad con.
No.
Don't think it's worth the price.
No. So it was, like I said, it's $10 to get in.
$10 to get in.
It was one room, and there weren't a whole lot of guests, which is fine. You know, the guests aren't necessarily what we go to. We were hoping to find more stuff like this or any Funko dealers or anything like that. So I think maybe it was like $5 a person would have been, you know, but who knows what their overhead was. And they did have cosplay, and I think there was a cash prize for the cosplay. There was a cash
prize, yeah.
So would we go again? Probably. We know better now if it's at the same place about the parking situation. So plus it had rained, and it's not a paved parking lot. So there was like big giant mud puddles and stuff. And I wore light shoes, so I didn't want.
We didn't know where this place was, so we
had no clue.
You know, it was called the Garden Expo.
Expo Garden.
Expo Gardens. So we thought, oh, okay, it's a nice big extravagant place. It wasn't.
No, and so it said it was like fairgrounds, and the fairgrounds we're used to that we've been to are in Arizona, the Arizona Fairgrounds, which is this giant place that was completely paved, and this we should have known better. Yeah. I mean, it's the Midwest.
Yeah, we're back home.
We're not complaining. We just should have known better.
But overall, we'd go back again. We had a great time. Got some cool stuff that we're very excited to get into. So yeah, check out the here's the coverage. And if you like the video, like it. If you don't like it,
don't be a dick.
Comment, subscribe, and then we'll see you in the next one.
And make sure you like it. Don't dislike it. Like it.
Yeah, like it and
no shitty comments.
Say, oh, that was good. Thank you. That'll work.
Yeah.
So we'll catch you later.
Bye.
Bye. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel.
Or welcome to the channel if you're new.
We are on location at PeoriaCon in what looks like a
fairgrounds.
Fairgrounds.
Indoor fairgrounds.
A lot of people. A lot of cool stuff too. So
we're looking forward to what's inside. The parking is kind of a joke, but
we're here.
we made our own parking.
We got a front row seat here too. So we'll head inside, film some stuff, and we'll catch you later.
Bye.
It's our opinion.